Hello and welcome back to part 2 of molestation. The question is, what can we do to protect our children? For in part 1, we discussed that the traditional speech that we give is actually counterproductive. It could get our children in deeper trouble. What is it that we can do as parents to shelter, to protect our children? And what we could do is, it's very difficult, but that's what works 80% of the time. It's not something you do for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It's something we do for days, weeks, months, and years. And that's what true parenting is all about. And that is the core of parenting. And this is something a lot of us might have not gotten from our parents, from our grandparents, but this is what parenting is all about, way more than discipline. What a child desperately needs and what is good, and as the years go on, science has more and more evidence of how it works, and that is to express one's love to their child. So we all do love our children, we care for our children, we do so much for our children, we are devoted to our children, we are responsible with everything that they need to get accomplished, and we are on top of the situation. But sometimes we forget, and that is to actually express our love to our children. And there's 5 love languages. Every child likes it in a different way. One child, to her or to him, is important that when they come home from school, they have a parent that's going to listen to how their day went. And it's really important. And it's not that they're annoying. It's not that they're needy. They need it, just like the child needs to eat today, although they already ate yesterday. The child will need to sleep tonight, although they already slept yesterday and the night before. Children desperately do need our love and our affection and our attention. And those children that do get that from 1 or 2 parents, and they get the expression of love from their parents, they have an 80% less chance to get touched by any molester or pedophile. Yes, I know. Everyone is asking me how. Well, I got 5 questions for you, not 1. And that will leave for next month. We have 5 questions. Number 1 is how? What is the connection if I hug my child on a daily basis and I tell him and her how much I love them, and I act and I speak in a loving way, in a respectful way, and I connect to their love language? How would that help if my son goes to camp that he should not be touched by a counselor? Or how does that help that an older sibling should not touch a younger sibling, or an uncle, or a grandparent, or a teacher? How does that work? Number 2 is a very interesting question as well. Why is it 30 to 50% of parents cannot and will not embrace their children? A lot of parents tell me that when their child grows up, anywhere about the age of 6, the average is 6, it could happen the age of 5, it could happen the age of 8, but anywhere the average is 6, where if the child does come for a hug or does sit down with a parent lap, the parent feels like stifled, they feel like they're choking, they can't handle it. They keep on telling their child that they're needy and they're clingy and they should just leave go, give them space, go play with their siblings, go have a good time. Why is it that parents cannot handle it? What is it within us that suddenly, as they grow up, we have a tough time connecting with them on a physical basis? Or some, even without hugging and touching, they just don't have the patience for their kid. What is it and why? Especially if we know how much that helps them in so many different ways, besides as a mechanism for prevention of molestation. Number 3, what about the other 20%? We mentioned that affection, attention, and love can protect them. How about the other 20%? That expression of love doesn't protect them all the way. Number 4, what speech is it that parents and teachers give on a regular basis, not all, but many, that actually helps the molesters, and the molesters use that same speech and they get the child to listen to them? What is it that our intentions are really good to get our children to comply, but then the molesters use that same speech and they get your children to comply as well. And number 5, what is it that we can help our children if, God forbid, they do get hurt? Because there's 2 parts within molestation. One part of molestation is when someone touches them and that hurts them terribly. And then I would say most of the trauma comes afterwards. When the thoughts, the shame, the guilt, the confusion, the loneliness, the isolation, that begins to develop in their minds and their hearts later on. What is it we could tell our child when they're very young to help them out, God forbid, if they do get touched? Because then, if they know what to do, that will prevent a tremendous amount of pain. Will it take away 70 or 80%? I don't know the exact number, but it will help them a lot. And in July 1st, I'll be back and to begin answering these questions. You have yourself a wonderful and delightful day. And always remember, you are greater than you think you are. Bye now.